The energy crisis in Cuba is deepening. Severe blackouts, soaring prices, and a shortage of basic goods is putting a strain on the island. Cuba has been scheduling lengthy daily power cuts to reduce pressure on its electrical grid. The country is also bracing for a fuel shortage as the U.S. tightens its oil supply blockade. On Wednesday, Canada updated its travel advisory on Cuba. Canadian travelers are now being warned to exercise, quote, a high degree of caution if they decide to visit the island. And joining us now, Vicky Volovik and Mark Harrington in Caya Coco, Cuba. You're from Toronto and you traveled there presumably on a vacation. Tell me what happened next.
Yes, we are here since Wednesday and love the hotel here, but we were told the hotel's closing down on Sunday. We are in the lobby right now, waiting to be transferred to another hotel.
Why is your hotel closing down?
They don't have enough fuel, from what I'm hearing, to be transporting all the workers to all the different hotels. So they're trying to conserve energy by grouping everybody in the same hotel.
So you're being moved hotels. Do you have a way to fly home still? Is that still being honored?
What is that?
Do you still have a way to get home?
Oh, yes, yeah. There's a flight schedule fine. We haven't found any shortages. There's been plenty of food to eat, no blackouts. Everything's good, going good. I think they're just trying to be proactive to make sure that it doesn't become a crisis, So by putting this all together, they're just conserving as much as they can.
Okay, so they're moving you from one resort to another resort. How many people are they relocating?
Oh, it's pretty much the whole hotel is relocating except for the ones that are leaving tomorrow.
But it was not at maximum occupancy, so maybe 100 people?
It might be about 100, 150 people at the hotel.
And their goal is to amalgamate and consolidate all the vacationers into one resort.
And just to understand the reasoning here, that's because there is a fuel shortage, meaning there's not enough gas to fuel buses or vehicles so that workers can actually reach your resort. Is that the correct understanding?
Yes, because, especially in Caya Coco, there's nobody really living on the island. They all bus in from the cities of Moron and Ciego de Avila.
And by extension, it could also be resources like the food shortages and the shipping of the other items like the food and the supplies to the hotels.
And then cooking the food too as well, if that's impacted. Are there other resorts and hotels in your area or across the island that you've heard have been similarly impacted?
I heard the Tripe and a couple of the Iberostar hotels have had the same situation. So they're just putting everybody all in the same resorts.
Did you hear about the travel advisory from the government of Canada about going to Cuba before you got on a plane? It happened the very same day, so you'd be forgiven if you hadn't heard the news yet.
Well, we left at 6:30 in the morning from Canada, so we didn't hear anything. There was a news broadcast over the Cuban television set. Was what, yesterday, was it? And a lot of the locals were very tuned into that broadcast, so something was announced here in Cuba. We just weren't sure what exactly it was. And then this morning, some of the workers were telling us that they just learned that this morning the hotel was shut down as of Sunday completely.
There's snow hitting Toronto today, so let me assure you that wherever you are right now is certainly warmer than here. But what does this in effect do to your vacation?
We're enjoying ourselves, so we're not really too worried, I'm a long-time Cuba traveler, so, I've come to Cuba even in the 90s when things were in crisis then, and the people take care of you. So I'm not worried myself, and I think by moving us is just being proactive to make sure that the tourists are taken care of. So that's why I'm not concerned.
Okay, but Vicky, good point there. The tourists are a priority because that's a huge part of the industry and the income for the people of Cuba. But what about the people of Cuba themselves? Have you heard anything about how they are faring in the absence of fuel and power in their homes?
Lots of tears, lots of crying. People are very upset because all the workers here have just pretty much lost their job and their way of livelihood. So I'm more concerned about the people here. We'll be looked after. We'll be fine until Wednesday. But the people here, they're suffering right now. You got a lot of tears in the hotel.
And have they described to you what the impact has been to their daily lives, this lack of power, these rolling blackouts and so forth?
They haven't really said too much about that. But, I mean, a lot of their income is relied on by our tips and tourist dollars. So that's going to be gone once the hotel is closed up.
Vicky Volovik and Mark Harrington of Toronto, I hope that you can make the best of your remaining vacation and safe travels to you.
All right. right, thank you. But you know what? We'll try to come to Cuba as much as we can. So make the best of it. And fingers crossed, and lots of love for the people here.
I appreciate your positivity.